Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you, my friend, my sister?
I'm so good over here. That cacao ceremony Monday night
Oh,
it's left me high.
nice. Ditto. That was beautiful. As usual, beautiful.
And your little
Nice.
toning at the end was just like the little little highlight to a lovely, lovely event. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Looking forward to doing it more and with
yes.
somebody else.
Yes, it was fun
Yeah.
getting the well, I guess because it's on the website, I feel like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
I can share this. This is weird too. It just went live. I'm like, did something happen there? I don't know. Time glitch, something. Which
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff has been happening to me extra lately as well. Something
Mm,
something is going on in the energetic field and
mhm.
it's all
Yep.
good. It's um
Mhm.
oh, so we were talking about um what is the date? July
19?
19th.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing a rose ceremony and sound journey
Mm.
with Doris and with
Yeah.
Drea. And so
Drea.
for those that don't know Drea, Drea is the elder who leads the women's sweat lodges at the Golden Weaver Community Sweat Lodge. And just a wonderful, gifted, healing
Mm.
human being. And we did
She is.
a mini version, what was that, last month or so?
Mhm.
It was incredible. These two women, Doris with her voice and
Aw.
Drea with her instruments, create such incredible magic. And so if you head over to the Body and Soul Events webpage, you can
Yeah.
find all the details for that. Seats are limited, and I have a feeling this one is going to sell out. So don't wait to get your spot because it's gonna be special.
It is. I am so looking forward to it. Drea is incredible. Her sound is just from the heart, organic, easy, flowing. And I think last time we just kind of impromptu did it and it just worked so well
It was
that
magic.
there's like, yeah, so magical. And we have so much fun and we connect so easily. So everybody connects. So it's a free flowing, no stress, kind of making the magic happen all together. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
It's gonna be great.
Yes.
Um, so I was laughing as because sometimes I book out just one of these at a time, and sometimes I have time, and so I get inspired and I book out. I think I booked out like 8 of them in a row coming up. And so I had to go back and remind myself, what are we talking about today? And I was like reading it and I read, who would you be without all the roles? And I was like, I'd be skinny.
You're so funny.
Because I was reading ROLLS, not ROLES.
That's great. RLLS. That's funny. I like that. I like that. Hey, sky's the limit. You can be whoever you want to be in whatever shape you want to be, honey. You go, girl. You're
Thousand
funny.
percent. Um, yeah, so because I don't know if
Yeah,
you saw in my sharing, reminding people to
I
tune in
did.
today. I'm gonna make you laugh.
Yes, I saw that. In the first minute, I'm going to make you laugh. I was like, oh, I can't wait to laugh. Thank you very much. Mhm. Oh, you're funny.
So,
You're,
but this topic is, and I was trying to think back a little bit, like, because I'm sure many of us, I know for many years, like, didn't even think about the roles I was playing.
oh,
I was just living like I didn't that thought process didn't even pass through my mind. And then all of a sudden, one day, someone tuned me into this. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh shit. Oh shit. Whoa,
You're
there's a lot of roles,
unpacking. Mhm.
identities, labels that, like, that's, like, who would you be without these roles? And I said skinny, but like literally, like, who would you be without all these roles? You know, someone not physically skinny, but
Right.
like, think about all of that,
Lighter. Mhm.
that energetic weight that you're carrying. Like,
Mhm.
yes, be lighter.
Lighter.
If you
Lighter. Yeah.
put down some of these roles that aren't serving you. And the roles, again, to me, it's basically the same thing as identity or label.
Yeah.
And I personally try to avoid any kind of label at all costs, because to me
Mhm.
a label is a limitation.
Mhm.
And even having this realization that, like, when you are given a quote unquote higher level label, like, um you know
Like a
say you
CEO or
were just an employee and then you got promoted to be
CFO.
manager. And
CEO, right.
so, like, you think like, oh, now I have more power. But the truth is, that label comes with probably even more expectation and limitation than what the lesser, quote unquote, lesser label carried.
Mhm.
And so then, like, I also had this realization, like, that is also why the people in power want to put more limitations on the people that are, quote unquote, below them,
Mhm.
because they're feeling their limitations and they feel the need to limit those under them even more.
Mhm.
And
True.
so choose what
Mhm.
roles, labels, identities that you're going to carry very carefully.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And there's a lot of roles, like you just mentioned, being in the workforce, those type of roles. And I have my share there. And, but first we come in being who we are. So you come out of the womb, you're a daughter, you're a son, and then you're growing. And what are you becoming? I mean, you're a student, then you go to school, then I became a wife, I became a mother, always been a caretaker, and then went into the healing field. Well, what? First, I was a teacher. Then I went into the healing field. Then I went back to teaching. And it's like you just kind of, I rolled into the role one by one, but I transitioned myself. And it was definitely hard to give up, especially with the workforce one, when I wanted to change careers. It's like, okay, do I really want to do this? Is this really who I am? And I remember, I'll never forget this, trying to make a decision right before I became a physical therapist assistant, and I was going to do either the school for hands of light, or I was going to go into the therapist land, right? And I remember having a logical sense, which one am I going to be able to pay my own bills, have insurance, all these things, right? That I need set to have my life in orders. But that was a safety thing too. I mean, it gave me you, number one. I got to work for you. We got to, therapize together. But the therapist fit me, the healer fit me, and then I had to go, oh, I got to switch gears. I don't want to be a wife anymore. Huh. That was a realization. How is this going to go? What's going to happen? I can never not be a mother because that's always going to be true. But, bottom line is every time I switched careers or kind of went with the flow of life, who I needed to rediscover who I was, it helped me to know that I wasn't stuck in one certain role, in one certain way, and kind of just tunnel vision my way through life. I mean, even in the career realm, when I became a teacher and the program director left, my boss, I did that for 6 weeks and I knew that wasn't me. I knew it. I said, no way. I don't want to do this. Does anybody else want to do this? I'm out. As soon as somebody else wants to step up to this, I am out. I don't want to put out fires. I don't want to sit behind a desk. I don't want to write emails and reports and all that. I'm a teacher. And it's like getting to know who you were and curious about who you were. I mean, that's from my perspective where I had to go, is staying curious to the process and just not being so boxed in, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I do want to speak to, you said you're a mother and you will always be a mother. Like,
yeah,
of course, you've birthed children, so that kind of is a category that you will always hold on to. And
yeah,
not being a mother, I guess it's interesting that I'm choosing to speak about this, but it's just because it's something that I've witnessed so much, that oftentimes women like give their whole identity over to the mothering of their children. And then when it comes time that their children are now adults and they don't need to, quote unquote, care for them anymore, they're lost because they put all of their eggs in one basket.
Yes.
And I had this conversation quite a bit with moms. Like, I get it. Like, we went through a time, we grew up in the age of the latchkey kids. Like, because both parents were working.
Mom's a career woman now. Right.
Like, in the morning when mom had to leave for work, we got sent across the street to the neighbor's house to wait until it was time to go for school, and then, but then also growing up, it was, you go home, you put on your play clothes, and then get out of here. I don't want to see you till dinner time. Yes. And then once dinner was over, clean up the kitchen and then get out of here. I don't want to see you till the street lights come on.
Right.
And so,
yes.
Like, I do not feel that I was neglected, but I do I do know children who like really had no sense of being parented other than they had a roof over their heads and clothes on their backs and food in their belly, but they didn't really have that. But so we went from one extreme to, what we have, the helicopter parents now that just like their kids lead the way in everything. And like, that's not okay either. Like, your children are still your children and you come before them. I tell parents all the time, your job is just to make sure your kids like survive. Like, you feed them, you house them, but your job is not to give over everything to them.
No.
And so, and that's also not a good lesson for them, because then what they're learning is, well, first they learn selfishly that they're the center of the universe and
that's
everything revolves around them. And that's not okay. But the other lesson that you're teaching them is that when you become a parent, you become nobody and it's all about your kids. And that's not okay either. That goes back to the self, it's always put your oxygen mask on first. Take care of you first. Don't let your kids die. Make sure they're fed. But, you come first. And if you're in a relationship, your relationship with your spouse should come before your relationship with your children. And that is also probably another reason that a lot of marriages don't succeed, is because 100%. The children are put first.
That's right. It revolves around them. You said it perfectly. I agree with everything wholeheartedly. I've had many discussions with my partner about this too. It is. It's a shame, but here lies the new problem. There's every generation we bounce back in the other direction, right? We swing in the other direction. We came from latchkey. Now we overdid it. And, there goes the problems of the child who grew up with the parent of an unlived life, that it's like, what happened? They focused so much. They forgot who they were. I'm the child. Yes, they grew up. They don't need you anymore. Who are they? And now the kids actually suffer from the parents not living their own life, and they're pouring everything into them. And so all these expectations of what they should be, it's like they don't even know who they are, because they're just so busy living their parents' life that the parents didn't live themselves. And so that creates issues. All those like helicopter parents, right? I mean, I think my son went to New York just to say, bye, Ma, I got to get out of this helicopter land. No. But, I did cut the cord. They went to college. I said, get out of the house, go to college, go live your life, go to New York, son. Do what you got to do. Be who you're going to be. I don't want to be that parent. And thankfully I didn't. I had a career. My spiritual life blossomed. There's things that I still want to do with my life, to give them space to be their own person. Even if, I'm watching from the sidelines going, oh shit, here it comes. Well, they're going to have to learn the hard way on that one. But you got to let them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another role that I want to talk about, because I'm pretty sure you can relate to this one as well, but the strong one.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sekhmet's sitting over here, the powerful one. Yes. I just used to pride myself on how I could handle anything. And, everybody knew if I got a problem, Julietta's the one I got to go see. Yep. She's going to make it okay. She can handle anything. She is the strong one. And I don't remember exactly when that moment was, but it was like, when I choose that label, then I'm constantly putting out to the universe that I have to live up to that label, which meant the universe was constantly handing me opportunities to prove how strong I was.
Yep.
And one day all of a sudden I was like, I'm done. I don't have to prove to anyone, anywhere, anyhow that I'm strong. All of that has been proven. I release myself of that identity, that label. I know without that label, I will still be able to handle whatever I need to handle. But, walking around being the strong one, and I do know that people still see me as that, which is also
yeah, do.
I do have my people that check on me, but when you're the strong one, no one ever asks you how you're doing, because they're always like, oh, she's the strong one. She's fine. She's got this. She's fine. Yeah. Sometimes the strong one is. You have a friend that's a strong one, check on them. Ask them how they're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for checking on me. I hope I check on you enough. But it's true. I always think that of you. This is a very good point. I mean, we are strong women. We like to pride ourselves in that a lot. And we don't check on each other maybe as much as we should, or just I'm here if you need anything. Just that alone is just enough. It's perfect, because I know us and I know our personalities, and I mean, it's funny because Matthew just said this to me. It's just so funny that we're talking about it. Of course, synchronicity, right? He's like, you attract really strong women in your life. There's nobody needy around you. I'm like, I shed these needy people a long time ago. I can't do it. It's too draining.
Well, anyway. And what I will say is I am here for the person who's not strong yet, but they're working on getting there.
Yes.
Because I am happy to hold your hand, and because I've walked that path, I will hold your hand and bring you along till you can do it yourself. Absolutely. But if you are one of those people that just refuse to get out of victim mode, how many people are wearing that identity as the victim? My life would be so much better if they hadn't done that to me, or this hadn't happened to me. Yep. And that's, everybody has had their thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not going to lie. Some things are a little harder to carry than others. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But it does not, what happened to you does not define you. You define you. And so if you're going to continue, yes, people come to me all the time who've been victims. And when they are ready, willing, and able to step out of that victim mode and, take their power back and take responsibility for their life, I am there for you. But if you just want to sit there and wallow in your victimhood, I ain't got time for that.
No, I get it. I get it. No, we've grown out of those relationships. And we were just talking about this right at the cacao ceremony, because sometimes we sit with people who are still in that role of that very codependent relationship, and they're, constantly being used to get vomited on, to throw up all the problems of everybody, theirs and everybody else's. And people are still sitting with that and feeling bad if they rush them off the phone because they don't want to have that conversation. It's like, but we do evolve if we allow ourselves to. Taking your power back to take the direction of a conversation. Don't be afraid. Maybe that person that is stuck in that dynamic with you needs help to get there, because there's better things to do with our time than just to rehash a lot of nonsense sometimes. But what are you going to do?
Yeah. Another role I want to talk about, because you and I also share this role. I want to talk about it because, I know a lot of our listeners also wear that hat a little bit as well too, but the healer. And, looking at, I started my career as a physical therapist back in 1991.
Yeah.
In the previous century. And, and just looking at like how our Western medical model like really trained me to believe that I was going to go fix people. And so I took all the tools that they gave me and I tried to fix people. And sometimes I could fix them and sometimes I couldn't. And then I would take this on like I'm a failure as a healer because there's all these people that I haven't been able to fix.
Yeah, that's hard.
Ooh, it's really hard on a young little ego there. Like, oh man. But like as you grow and discover and realize, like, the healer doesn't heal anybody.
Yeah.
The healer is the guide to the journey of healing. But the only person that can heal you is you. And
that's right.
So I'm telling the story for all the healers that are out listening. Like, if you haven't realized this already, if you haven't grasped it, I'm telling you now, so you don't have to spend all the years that I spent thinking that I was a failure because I wasn't healing everybody.
Yep. No.
And I'm also saying this to the people out there. If you are the person in need of healing, yes, go get support. Go get someone to guide you on your healing journey. But understand that nobody is going to heal you. Only you are going to heal you. And, if you're not healing, ask yourself why. Right. And it might be that you need a different guide, that the guide that you presently have is not the one to show you the way, which is why there's so many different types of healers out there. When I tell my people I'm not for everybody, they're like, what do you mean? Everybody must love you. You're amazing. And I'm like, thank you very much. And I'm not for everybody. Yeah. That's why there's all these different people out there. So it's okay to check in. Maybe your healer is not the one to support you in your journey. But B, I also invite you to examine, like, are you really all in for healing? And if not, what is that? And we talk a lot about, in our world, secondary gain. Yes, there are plenty of people out there that some on a conscious level, but most of the time it's not on a conscious level. It's on a subconscious level that people stay unhealed because of all of the things that they get in not being healed.
Yes. Yes.
And, and that goes to the other side, back to that victim role. Are you playing the victim of, my life is ruined because I was in this car accident and I'm going to be in pain for the rest of my life? If you choose, yes. But I'm sure I have witnessed so many times in my life, like injuries, like this person should be devastated. This person should be, disabled, in a wheelchair, non-functioning. like all the things,
Mhm.
but you
Yeah.
see them living a completely perfect life. And then
Yep.
you have people that have a hangnail and they can't,
That's,
you know, they can't
I
wipe
was
their
just
butt. Like,
I was just going to say that because when we worked together in the clinic, okay, so Juliet and I, she had an outpatient neuro clinic, and it was just laughable when the stoic patient walked in and they had traumatic brain injury, like a severe, right? Brain injury, left them with deficits long term, but they're walking in ready to do their therapy, feeling good, saying hi to everybody, spinal cord injury, you name it. And then you'd get somebody with a little, carpal tunnel or a little pinky fracture or something, and it's the end of the world for them. Doom and gloom, depressed. And it's like we had to switch gears from TBI to little pinky fracture. And it was an interesting lesson. And it's true, everybody's different. Everybody can handle different things. You have to just go with the flow. But some of the times I wanted to be like, did you see who just left? When the pinky fracture came in, did you see who just walked out the door, barely walking? Let me tell you about them. Count your blessings. But we all have our stories we have to go through and experiences we have to learn from, and what we're here to do, what we're here to experience. So God bless everybody on their healing journey. And I was thankful when you told me that, I don't even know how long ago, Julietta, but when it comes to the healing realm, it's like I'm now very discerning. Does that person want to heal? Is that person going to engage and contribute to their healing? Because I don't want anymore to have all of that on me. Facilitation is what we're here to do, right? So that's it. It's like you don't get to be passive in the process as you're laying on the table. That's it. Those days are over. We know you got to take back your own ability and your power to heal yourself. So I was thankful when you taught me that one.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Um, so, and these are just a few of the roles, the labels that we carry. I mean, they are infinite out there. Obviously, it's easiest for us to speak of the ones that we've carried ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I say, like, I would really love to be label free.
Yeah.
And I do try to limit as much as possible
Mm-hmm.
those labels that I choose to carry. Um, you know, sometimes society asks you for the
Mm-hmm.
like, you got it. What do you do? What do you do?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I do have to say, sometimes I like to just say, I don't know. I just do what I do.
Yeah.
And there
Really.
there are ways around the labels, but I think like
Mm-hmm.
the important side of this is just recognizing, starting to see what are those roles that you are carrying, and do they still serve you,
Mm-hmm.
you know and how might you know if your labels are serving you or not. Tune in. How do you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel good, or are you constantly exhausted? Are you constantly
Yeah.
irritated? How well do you sleep at night? Like, how are you?
Yes.
If you're good, you're probably okay with your labels. If you're
Yeah.
not good, it might be an opportunity to go and check out, what labels am I carrying? Am I okay with these? Am I ready
Mm-hmm.
to set some of them down, lighten the load? And
Yeah. 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 I think that's and it is good to at our age does help because we've been a lot of labels. As we're growing up, we're constructing our egos and unconsciously using those labels to figure out who we are in life. But then, we get to a certain point, and with all the changes and the shifting, and we end up being on the other end of something very different. Okay, well, then it was a learning experience. It's like, hey, I can be this. I can change direction. I'm still okay. I'm still, the essence of me is still here, and everybody recognizes that essence. So do I have to be the healer, the teacher, the daughter, the wife? Do I have to be? No, I don't. I mean, and we do question. I mean, Juliet and I do question the consciousness of what we like to partake in, the conversations we like to partake in. These questions brings us to examining who we are, the labels we choose, who we want to be, what, like you just said, what serves us, what doesn't serve us anymore. Are we changing? What direction do we need to go? So the deeper questions are, at hand here. And I think that's the space that we've created. Am I right, Julietta? Creating space for these things to take hold.
Well, and I think, it is important to examine, because we, like I said earlier in the show, that, for how many years of my life did I just like walk through carrying these labels, carrying these roles without a conscious thought about it.
Right.
And so I think the first step in all of this is like examining what roles am I carrying? Do I want to carry this role? And if not, how do I go about putting it down?
Yes.
Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of taking labels, putting specific hats on, but sometimes they serve us as well. They help give us some direction. And so looking at, is there a role that you're not presently participating in that you would like to participate in? And thinking about like, how is that going to serve me before I just randomly go, oh, that looks cool, let me try that.
Right.
You can do that, but step a little bit into the why, and what purpose do I think that this is going to serve, and how is it going to serve me, or is it just going to be one more thing to weigh me down and wear me out?
Yes. That's very good question. The examining questions are very good questions. The conscious choices are the good choices. And so when you need support, that's what we're here to do too, is to support you in those conscious choices, so that the directions and the choices you decide to go with are the ones that suit you, and the ones that are going to be a growthful experience, not something that you got trapped in and feel like you made a mistake. Besides, there are no mistakes. But anyway.
That's a whole nother show.
Whole other show. I mean, I get that. Let's not go there. But there you go.
Yeah.
I think staying curious is key.
Staying curious is very, very important.
Yeah.
And I really think this show is just about doing some self-examination and recognizing, what roles am I playing? Do I still want to play this role? How do I put this role? Because sometimes you decide, I don't want this role anymore, but how do you put it down? Especially if it's a role that so many people have come to know you as. And even for me, like when I made this transition from being a physical therapist to having a ministry, so many people were like, why can't you do both? Why can't you keep your PT license, keep that title? And I understood where they were coming from. I did a lot of hard work to earn that title. And as time went on, rather than empowering me, that title was limiting me. And so I needed to free myself of the limitations of that role. And yes, there are people that aren't accepting of who and what I am now, and that's okay. That's
Okay.
their that's their choice.
Hmm.
But the freedom I have found in being who and what I am today,
Oh yeah.
like that is just the feeling of that is so uplifting and empowering. And um while oftentimes if I have to give myself a role, I'll use the word healer. But even that, I try, if I don't need to throw it out there for a reason, I don't.
Yeah.
And because there's limitations in that as well.
Hmm.
And I want to be limitless.
I love it. I think it was so bold that you did that. Total segment move, by the way. It's really an amazing thing to do the transition that you did, having that license for so long, that PT license, and then going the ministry way. And because it more so fit you, you evolved. And that's the thing, is that we're always evolving. So who are we now? And those old roles, do they still fit you? And that's one example of you shedding the old role and going and having the courage to do so. That's what I think is astounding. It's courage. Not everybody has that, so they need support.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It does take some courage to put down those old roles that you've, especially when you've carried them for a long time. And no, like that is the time when you go and you seek out support. And I
Mhm.
say this a million times, that we are not meant to go through this life alone. And even when I was going through the transition with, because Allison was originally my co-host here, and when she had a life switch and she's like, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. And people would say to me, well, why don't you just do the show alone? And I'm like, because it isn't as fun doing it alone. I want, you know, this space is also community. It's
Yeah.
on an interactive level, it's a community of me and you. Although our listeners, like when you're tuning in, you can put comments in, you can put your questions in.
Yeah.
We're happy
Mhm.
to. But it's also, it does create community in the feedback that we get outside of the show about the
Yes.
show. And,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm shocked at how many people are actually like listening, and the comments that come back about the show. So there
Yeah.
is community there, um but this doing the show, I knew I didn't want to do it alone, because alone is not as fun. Alone is not as easy.
Yeah.
And so
I'm glad to
like
be
these
here.
things, you don't have to do anything alone. You can always reach out for help and have someone support you when you need some courage.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But the important thing is to make the shifts that you need to make, because like just staying stuck in something that's holding you back and holding you down does not serve you. It does not
No.
serve humanity. It does not serve the people around you. And
Nope.
so if you need help making a shift, ask for help.
Yes. I love that. And we're here to help. We have a
Woo-hoo.
supportive community, definitely. And that's
We
what the
do have
conversation
a very
are.
supportive community, 1,000%. And we do
Yeah.
offer all of these little events that support
Mhm.
this kind of work in their own right. And
Mhm.
I also do want to do a plug for a retreat coming up in October 15th through the 18th. It's in the Tampa area here. Um, but also like having that 4-day intensive of being in that self-examination and having the support of not just your facilitators there with you, but even this in the cacao ceremony, like seeing how, like, yes, I was there leading the ceremony, but everybody was
Mhm.
contributing to everybody.
Mhm.
It's so beautiful. There is wisdom inside each and every one of us. I am
Yeah.
not the only one sitting here with in my space of wisdom. Doris is not the only one sitting there in a space of wisdom. Everybody has some wisdom within them. Well, we all have all the wisdom within us. It's just learning how to tap into it and connect to it. And
Mhm.
see, like when you're in a group setting, I feel like it's so much easier to tap into, whether you want to call that the Akashic record space or the collective infinite consciousness that's out there. Everything already exists. There's nothing new in the world. It's just a matter of who's tapping into it. And when we come together, I do feel like the vibration, the frequency shifts in such a way that we are able to tap into that easier. So this is
Yeah.
part of why we do the group events, but doing these retreat events, it's 4 days of intensive self-examination and growth, and you walk out of there with the courage to start to make those changes that you want to make to create the life that you want to have.
Yes. Yes.
So
And
go
I'm
to
glad.
bodyandsoulevents.love. You can find all the information there.
Yes.
And it's going to be a truly magical space. And by next week's show, the early bird discount will be gone. So if
Okay.
that retreat registers with you, if it's poking at your consciousness at all, don't wait, because it is a nice early bird discount. Like, I mean, if you want to pay full price, go ahead and pay full price. But July 5th is the cutoff date for the early bird discount. So go in there, get yourself signed up. We'd love to have you. And if you have any questions about it, like, I think I want to do this, but I'm not 100% sure, reach out to myself, reach out to Doris. We can support you in that. Past attendees, like, everybody like leaves there just at a whole new level, and see, these are all women that we are still in touch with today, and seeing like how they made those shifts and they've continued to progress and go forward. Like, these are the kinds of tools that we need as humans to get out of these ruts of the roles that we don't want to be carrying anymore,
Mhm.
move forward, remember our truth, and become the authentic version of ourselves.
Well said.
Uh,
Perfect ending. Perfect ending. That's a wrap.
so that is a wrap. So thank you for tuning in, everyone, today. We love having you here. And
Yes.
we love feedback. Like, let us know what you think of the show. If you have any special requests for topics for us to speak on, we'd be happy to do it.
Yes.
And with that, I'm going to wish you all a magical day.